r/ask Reddit. What perfectly good product was made worse when they improved it? Cadbury's chocolate was taken over by Kraft and they won't admit they've changed the recipe, but they have. For the worse. I remember when I was a little kid the Cadbury eggs at Easter were almost a liquid inside and delicious. Now they are some weird creamy substance, and of course much smaller. Here in NZ they started using palm oil in Cadbury's chocolate and it was horrible. We switched to Whittaker's, which is much better, and haven't looked back. I did get some Cadbury's given to me and it tasted gritty and oily. Nasty. They've got rid of the palm oil but it still tastes like crap. Red gas cans. They took away the little vent to let air in and now they glug. After they went to safety gas cans and nozzles, I have spilled more gas on the ground, myself, or whatever I was filling. I came here looking for this. One of my biggest pet peeves. Plus because they won't let any vapor out. When it gets warm in the summer, it blows gas droplets everywhere the first time you open it. Ugh. It feels like the safety device was designed by someone that has never used a gas can and has no idea how gasoline works. And in the summer they balloon out. I've seen a couple I really thought would pop. I had one actually pop in the bed of my truck. Split right down the middle on the bottom. I only had about 2 gallons in a 5-gallon can. I left the can in overnight and when I opened my bed cover the next day I found the empty can and gas residue on everything in the bed. All of my can are now vented. New Skype is a piece of shit. Actually it seems to be pretty common that when a big corporation takes over something that was originally an innovative product that took off they do their best to duck it up. Skype's been shit since 2015. Hey, remember when Snapchat got updated? LOL. Oh my god, I've never gotten anywhere close to this number of upvotes. The discover section is AFWOL and the only reason why I ever look at it is to see my friends' snap stories. At least the old version had snaps you could watch whenever you got bored. Admittedly, as a guy in my 40s I'm not Snap's top target demographic. But holy shit, the discover section is nothing but flaming hot trash. I made a few vain attempts to train it by diligently removing quite a few rando sexy vloggers who sexily vlog about being sexy vloggers. But there seems to be an endless supply of them and they all float to the top. This site and the redesign. At least you can still use the old version. I do appreciate that. I've always wondered the percentage of Reddit users still use the old version. We'll never know, because that would mean them admitting defeat. Well, we can start counting here. I'm 1. You're 2. The Nokia version of Snake. I don't need anything other than the bog standard version. I don't want anything else. I don't want fluid motion. I don't want fancy colors. I want the Nokia 3310 version of Snake. That or the version on Neopets. America Chase. All the apps that need to change their UI every 6 months so they can stay relevant, even though nothing about their existing interface is broken and nobody is complaining. I'm looking at you, Gmail. As someone with 4 different work emails, the all inboxes feature on mobile stresses me TF out and it always seems to default to it. Outlook can duck right off with this focused inbox crap. If I want some of my emails to go into another folder, I'll create a rule myself. If I miss a time-sensitive customer email because of some shit algorithm routing it to a folder I never created or wanted, there will be blood. Yik Yak, making it a social media site. And now it's offline. What has replaced Yik Yak as the go-to local radius chatting site? Shouting. No, I'm not going back to that. Yes we are, Josh. Most apps programs fit this bill. There's a reason the term bloatware exists. Too long didn't read duck iTunes. Also Spotify and Netflix. From a user perspective, there's literally no goddamn reason to keep redesigning and or removing features that people love. No, I don't want the sort by section on Spotify to be hidden under multiple menus when it was working perfectly fine at the top of the playlist. No, I don't want to watch trailers of your content that are taking up half the screen. Netflix. Also, if you give the option of opting out of stupid new changes features, ducking make the opt-out permanent until I change it. Stop changing it for me after every day, week, month. If I want to see your new changes, I'll make that decision myself. Holy shit, iTunes. Why on earth is a company, which is so good on UX, able to make such a shitty software? Did Steve Jobs ever see that piece of crap? Dig, famously, for which we have to thank why we are all here at Reddit. The Reddit redesign reminds me so much of Dig v4. If I find I can't use the old design anymore, I'm out of here. I agree with you on the last part, but the point of the Dig v4 upgrade was to rig the site in favor of corporate self-submissions. That stuff was making the front page with maybe a dozen digs, what they called upvotes, while user-submitted content was getting hundreds of them and still barely making it. I do understand that the new owners paid Kevin Rose $60 million for the site and they needed to start making their money back, but you can't alienate your users like that. Reddit pays for itself with ads and gold, so hopefully it'll never go in that direction. John Deere tractors. They have DRM software on their tractors, effectively making farmers unable to fix their own machines. They've been getting firmware from the black market and jailbreaking them. Farmers hacking their tractor software to fix them tells us two things. We live in the future. It's stupid. Who has time to wait for a technician to come out and fix the tractor? Stuff needs to be done now. It's going to rain. This is too true. There's many times we have an issue in the fields and due to weather we need to get acreage done now. Most techs put you on a 2-day wait and we cannot afford that. Many jailbreaks and bush league repairs are a common theme here nowadays. We do still have some of our old fleet that we can actually repair like the old days, but it's total BS that our right to repair is being taken away. We didn't learn these skills just to pay someone else to do it. Couple of years ago they decided to improve the Chrome bookmark tool and royally ducked it up. Fortunately, they put it back the way it was after enough people complained. Also, Chrome used to be the lightweight browser. Ovaltine chocolate milk flavoring. They changed the recipe when they switched from the old brown glass jars to the new plastic ones. It's never tasted as good since. I haven't had Ovaltine in probably 20 years. Now I don't want to chance it and ruin the memory. Green Skittles. Duck your green apple and give Emmy a lime back, you pieces of shit. Gather round, youngins, and I'll tell you a tale of yesteryear. Back in the good old days, they let us vote on these important issues. We, as a people, chose to bring you blue M&Ms. There used to be a second brown, tan, if you can believe it. You're welcome. Costco's berry smoothies were supposed to be healthier, but it just tasted way worse and they jacked up the price too. And they got rid of the chocolate and peanuts covered ice cream. I refuse to buy their smoothies or ice creams. They got rid of the Polish hot dog. They can rot in hell for all I care. RuneScape. It's pretty telling when old school RuneScape is far more successful these days than the newer updates. Anytime a user interface is updated nowadays, it loses lots of functionality in exchange for looking pretty and to make it easier for dum-dums. I find it's even worse. UIs are losing both functionality and intuitiveness. iTunes is the best example. What a ducking dumpster fire of a corporate dev feature bloat that is. iTunes, at least on Windows, is the most bloated piece of sluggish software I've ever had the displeasure of using. How hard is it to make a lightweight MP3 player? Cell phones. Gimme a headphone jack. Beach. That's why I'm holding onto my iPhone SE as long as possible. Headphone jack. Proper pocket size. Cheez Whiz was reformulated so it would melt easier in the microwave oven, but that changed the flavor and texture, and it's never been as good as before the switch. Campbell's condensed soups have all had their recipes changed. Now the chicken noodle one has little or no chunks of chicken in it, and the broth tastes like water that rolled by a chicken once. Yuck. Why do corporations think they can turn good products into crap and we'll keep buying them? I can't tell you how many things I don't buy anymore. I can't fathom how their minds work. It costs too much money to keep making this the way we've always done it. Let's change it and put in less of what makes it good, and tell people that it's better, and that we've done it for their benefit. I mean, really. WTF. Adobe Creative Suite. It was expensive, but at least it was yours once you bought it. Now you have to buy it monthly, so they screw you in perpetuity. I just keep using the same copy of Photoshop CS6 that I bought. The board game Sorry. Used to love sorrying my opponent and getting that sweet win at long last. Got it for my sister for Christmas and apparently now there's only 3 pawns and the cards are all way better. Heck, you can get out of starts with any card, so a sorry doesn't hurt at all. Ran into this recently with a friend's kids. They started playing Sorry completely wrong and then they told me the rules changed. Duck that shit. Damn. Today I learned I need to purchase a retro Sorry set. Di Gianna's Pizza changed their sauce to original style sauce or whatever, which seems to be super concentrated high fructose corn syrup and red dye. I noticed recently that I dislike Di Gianna's now. Maybe that is why. It used to be our favorite frozen pizza. Yankee Candle. They just don't have the same strength and deep scents they used to have. I prefer Serenity by Jam. I hear ya. I just bought a Yankee Candle as I remember the scents being strong and really delightful. I can barely smell it and it's no better than the $5 ones from Big Lots. However, Bath & Body Works candles are money. Their scents are wonderful, very strong, and they last forever. Highly recommend aromatherapy, stress relief and fresh balsam with essential oils. Yeah, the problem with B&BW is that every time I find a new scent I love with my whole heart they discontinue it almost immediately. Raspberry Peach Macaron, I will never forget you. iTunes. Swear to God it gets worse every time you update. Windows Movie Maker. Getting rid of the timeline. Used to be able to do intricate editing. Now it's just drag, drop, add transition. Does Movie Maker still exist? On Windows 10 machines? I can't find it. The only thing there is the awful editor that is built into the File Explorer. So much of these are from scummy companies who have hit basically market cap with their product, and the only way to keep the rabid we must grow investors happy is to cut costs. It's really sad. Seems like it happens to literally every company I just don't understand it. If you have something good and you are making money, just ride it out. If there's a flaw, fix it. Otherwise just leave it be and keep making bank. Stop trying to nickel and dime everything. I liked it when ads were random, not targeted, and our tech wasn't constantly listening to us. Convenient sometimes but damn creepy. Car radios. Hear me out. About a year ago, we got a Trailblazer, early 2000s model, good SUV. I got no complaints, except for the ducking car radio the previous owner installed. Everybody was going on and on about how this radio is a great, top of the line, brand new radio. It's shit. Want to know why? This ducking radio has a touch screen. There are no knobs that control it. Want to increase the volume? Touch screen. Change the channel? Touch screen. Switch to CD player? Touch screen. Want to preset a radio channel so you can flip to it without searching the channels? Touch screen. You know what you can't do while driving? Look down at a ducking touch screen. The entire screen feels the same. There's no way for me to non-visually orient myself to figure out what does what. If I want to turn up the volume, I have to look down. If I want to change the channel, I have to look down. If I want to do anything with this ducking radio, I have to look down. If I turn on the radio and I don't like what I'm hearing, I have to ask the passenger to fix it because I can't without risking my life and the lives of everyone on the road. And if there is no passenger, I have to wait for a red light, or at least a stop sign. I live in Kentucky. Do you know how often I drive on long stretches of roads with no stops? All the ducking time. Radios were fine. They were fine with knobs and buttons. Nobody needed to reinvent the ducking wheel. Touchscreens aren't some be-all end-all technological improvement that makes our lives better. Just give me a ducking radio that doesn't put me in mortal danger. Don't text and drive, but here's a ducking iPad to do basic things. NyQuil. Used to contain pseudoephedrine, but the meth panic led to them replacing the only effective ingredient, besides alcohol. Some Walgreens have a store brand version behind the pharmacy counter with the D. Good stuff. Citrus Magic Discs. For anyone unfamiliar with them, they're cheap little scented discs that you can get at the grocery store with a sticker that covers the top. The disc is about 1 to 2 inches thick and has a scented wax type material inside. The old Citrus Magic Discs, the white ones, were super potent. Got a small bathroom with no ventilation? Get a Citrus Magic Disc. Peel the sticker off it and stick that bad boy on the back of the toilet. Your bathroom will reek of citrus for days. Now they redesigned them and added a couple other scents. The citrus scent comes in this awful avocado green color and has nowhere near the potency the old ones had. In fact, It's barely even scented at all. Definitely high up on the list of disappointing shit in my life. Anyway, that concludes my rant about citrus magic discs. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I didn't. Pyrex. What did they do to Pyrex? I remember about 15 years ago my wife and her mother were baking for Christmas and her mom pulled a Pyrex pie plate out of the oven with a beautiful apple pie in it but placed it on a top burner to cool but didn't turn it off, and about 5 minutes later the Pyrex exploded. It was awesome. The original Pyrex was borosilicate glass, a kind of glass that does only minimally expand or shrink during cooling warming. It's what chemistry glassware is made from. It's what any glass that goes through rapid heating cooling cycles should be made from. A while ago Pyrex US switched to cheaper soda lime glass, which can't not handle thermal shock at all. So if you put a hot Pyrex dish on a cold surface it will shatter. Pyrex sold in Europe still is good old borosilicate. I bought all my Pyrex from charity thrift shops because of this. I live in the UK and we get a shitty soda lime too. Subway stopped cutting the bread trough style. Adding a popcorn setting button to microwaves. Every popcorn bag now says do not use popcorn setting button on microwave. Recently, Gmail. I'm pissed at Gmail. I remember a few years ago, they were like switch to inbox, come on, IT's the new cool thing, and I was like ugh, okay, I guess I'll have to do it eventually. Better rip the band-aid off now. After a few months, I was all comfy with inbox and used it happily for years. And now I suddenly have to switch back to Gmail. I made the switch back to Gmail last week and a ton of emails that I'd moved to different folders had an inbox label added and were put back in the inbox. I had to spend an hour or so taking the label off of all of those emails. So ducking annoying. Contigo mugs, water bottles. Feel like their first or second go around was perfect. Kept things at temperature and well sealed. Then they kept coming up with new versions that got progressively worse. Kraft mac and cheese. They claimed no one noticed when they changed the recipe to be more natural. I did, and I don't like it now. Kinder Eggs. They used to have really cool metal and wood toys, a little wooden watercolor paint box, little wooden houses, metal toy soldiers. Now it's all plastic shit that looks stupid or is a marketer's wet dream. This one's kinda obscure. In Taiwan, there was this toothpaste called Black Man's Toothpaste. Originally, the toothpaste was actually really good, having a refreshing and slightly sweet minty taste, but then they redid the formula and the new taste is mint plus this really nasty chemical rubber taste. Snapple when they started using plastic bottles. Airlines. Too many to list here. Their improvements involved smaller seats, a lot more fees. The washrooms on board became even more cramped. It would seem more overbooking. Oreos. I feel like the double stuff now was their original cookie then, but I have no evidence. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.